We need to talk about Chicago fire. No, I don't mean the call of the week. I'm not talking about the latest high-rise inferno, the daring tunnel rescue, or the crossover-worthy chemical spill. I'm talking about the fire that's raging inside Firehouse 51, the one that's tearing through the hearts of our favorite couple and has left all of us, the fans, feeling completely wrecked. Your words for it were perfect. Shocking news. Stella kid. Baby sick. Hospital. If you just watched the season premiere, you're probably still staring at your TV, feeling numb. You're probably asking, did they really just do that? Yes, they did, and we're all left to pick up the pieces. For a show built on action, Chicago Fire has always known that the most devastating emergencies aren't the ones that require the jaws of life. They're the ones that happen in the quiet of a hospital room, in the space between two people who are trying to hold it all together. What the writers have just done to Stella Kidd and Kelly Severide isn't just a plot twist. It's a tragedy. And it's one of the most painfully real storylines they have ever given us. To really understand why this shocking news feels so cruel, we have to rewind just a little bit. This wasn't a sudden storm. It's a hurricane that's been building for a solid year. We all watched as Stellaride finally started talking about a family. After all the the arson investigations, the near-death experiences, and the long-distance drama, they were finally on solid ground. They were ready to build something. We, the audience, were ready too. We earned this. Then came the adoption storyline. Our hearts soared. This was it. And it was so perfectly Stella. Of course, she would choose a path that involved giving a home to a child who needed one. This is the woman who started Girls on Fire, the woman who sees the potential in every overlooked kid because she was one. Then the show introduced us to the first sick baby. We met the baby's biological mother, Jade, a woman battling a fierce addiction. The situation was complicated. The baby would be born with challenges. It was messy, and it was real. And in that hospital, we saw Stella transform. We saw that fierce, protective, maternal instinct ignite. She wasn't just a lieutenant. She was a mom. And then, in a sterile hospital hallway, the dream collapsed. The mother changed her mind. The baby was gone. We watched Stella and Severide return to an empty apartment, one that the entire firehouse had lovingly filled with cribs and baby supplies. We watched them stand there, surrounded by the ghosts of a future that had just been ripped away. Our hearts didn't just break. They shattered. We thought, okay, that's the tragedy for the season. They've been through enough. They can start to heal now. We were wrong. The writers gave us the most incredible, whiplash-inducing head fake in Chicago Fire history. Just as Stella and Severide were processing their grief, the season 13 finale gave us the twist. A pregnancy test. It was positive. After all that loss, all that pain, there was hope. The look on Severide's face when he found out, that pure, unvarnished joy, it made us all cry. We spent the entire summer hiatus dreaming of this. A Stellaride baby. A real Firehouse family baby. We debated names. We wondered if it would be a boy or a girl. We imagined Herman giving them parenting advice and Mauch offering to babysit. After the cruelty of the failed adoption, this felt right. It felt like destiny. And that right there is why today's shocking news feels like such a profound betrayal. The season 14 premiered didn't just start with the tragedy. It ripped the Band-Aid off with no warning. The episode opened, and it was over. Stella had a miscarriage. The baby was gone. There was no big dramatic rush to med. No frantic, life-saving surgery. It happened quietly, off-screen, in the gap between seasons, and that somehow made it hurt even more. It was just gone. The hope we'd held onto for months evaporated in the first 5 minutes. This is the shocking fire. It's not a building. It's the emotional inferno of their lives. And the sick baby in the hospital. It wasn't just one baby. It was two. Two futures, two hopes, both dashed against the cold, hard reality of hospital walls. What makes this storyline so emotionally devastating, and let's be honest, so brilliant, is what it does to Stella. This isn't just about losing a baby. It's about Stella's entire identity. We know her history. We know her own fears about motherhood, her complicated past. The showrunner, Andre Newman, even said that Stella felt a measure of relief alongside the grief, which then piled on a whole new mountain of guilt. How you process that? How do you grieve something you were also terrified of? And how do you navigate that with your husband, who was 100% all in?